it up. We got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up.
Oh, welcome to the CryptoCast with Letty
and Jason.
This episode is a little different. We're losing our Zoom virginity with our first guest. So we don't have any mics today because, technical difficulties. Life throws you with different obstacles. But we are super excited. We just talked with Cam last episode. And this episode, we are talking with an NFT artist named Chase. Chase, can you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I'm actually the project developer and the creator. My partner is the artist. I don't want to take credit for his amazing artwork. He kills it on that. But our project is Dragoonz NFT. It's the first project based in tattoos in the metaverse. We're trying to start a tattoo studio in the metaverse and also bring in real life utilities to people that enjoy tattoos and also trips. We've paired with our first resort is a week in Bali, but we've paired with a couple other that we're working with for future trips and stuff for holders, just trying to make it a full community environment that people can partake in if they like tattoos or they want to get tattoos, or even if they just like the art and then want to venture into the metaverse and maybe get tattoos on their avatar and not actually have tattoos in real life, they could do that too. So just kind of a project all around that we've put all of our hearts and minds into for the past, few months here. Are excited to get it out by the end of this month.
That's lit.
Awesome. So you're not actually the artist. You're kind of the one managing and kind of getting everything ready with marketing.
The developer, right?
Correct. And I'm also the developer. I'm also writing the smart contracts. I coded the generator. So I did all the coding for the project as well. So we're kind of 50-50. He does the art and then I take part in all the technical side of what we got.
Yeah. As you can see, I am a tattoo enthusiast. I love tattoos.
Oh yeah, man. Gotta have a little something, right?
Hell yeah, bro. Were you in the tattoo industry before this, or what's kind of your background?
I've always been into tattoos. I wasn't in the tattoo industry. I was actually in the music video industry and film industry. I worked in film commercials, small short films, a lot of music videos, things like that, in Hollywood. And so that was my background, was kind of how I networked with all these people that we're using now for the jewelry that we have that we're giving away in our roadmap, the 1 of 1 chain, the 10K chain. That's one of my partners that I met way back in the day, my bro, when I was doing music videos and working with different rappers and artists, and he would do, their chains and stuff. Or even the guy out in Bali was someone that I met that we've worked with. So just using my former network to kind of build this community, and everyone kind of wants to take part because most of those guys have tattoos too. But for me, I was just into the art of tattoos. I always enjoyed going to tattoo fests or, flipping through tattoo magazines, or even getting my first few and just having fun with small things here and there. And now I'm ready to, now that I have the funds, for me, I was waiting for the funds because I wanted good art, but I also wanted a full piece. So I have a full plan going on. I was just waiting for something like that. But now that I've started my journey, it's fun. And it brings you into that side of the community where you get to be a part of the artistic tattoo community, so to speak, whether you're a tattoo artist or you're a partaker in the community, or you just enjoy tattoos, even if you don't have them. It's a pretty inclusive community all around. And then I wanted to bring that aspect, that thinking to the metaverse, since we already have that community thinking already.
That's awesome. So
how did you get involved with kind of being the person that is in charge of this project and bringing it to life?
I've been in the NFT field, industry, Web3 space for about a year and a half, 2 years now. I started as a flipper, then a collector, and then kind of just really dove headfirst into it, learning Solidity and kind of learning to code and things like that, because I see a lot of potential in this space and I see a lot of evolution coming to this space. So I think everyone should partake in it, whether it's just learning the basics of NFT, or if you want to take it the way I went, learn to code and find a new position, so to speak, for yourself in the future, you could do it that way. But for me, I hopped into it as a consumer. I loved the community. I loved that you could partake in these different Discord groups and do in real life events, and watching obviously the 4 founders of Bored Ape Yacht Club take that and just build such a brand and such a community around that name. I wanted to build something that we could have for ourselves. So I've always been kind of scheming ideas back and forth, bouncing stuff off. And then my partner and I, when I brought it up to him, he was like, you know what, I feel like I could do the art for that. And I was like, yeah, let's do something. And so we cooked it up, and we have a few other members on the team, some mods, people that are helping me with some social stuff like that. But it's really just a small team of really 4 people max, mainly me and my partner. just going at it and having a good time with it. It's really fun. You know, you have a good time in the space.
So was your partner a tattoo artist previously?
Correct.
Or is he still maybe a tattoo artist?
Yeah. I mean, he's still a tattoo artist. He just hasn't really doxed himself. He because of that industry and like the tattoos field, he doesn't want a lot of people have judgments that industry, have clicks, different things here and there. So he just wants to stay for right now, kind of, you know, a little bit mysterious, a little bit just the artist in the background, just the guy designing stuff and really doing the ink and stuff like that. But I mean, his artwork's amazing. Obviously, like if you guys check out my page or any of the tattoos I posted, like his artwork's crazy. And so he's going to be doing those Dragoonz tattoos for the members, the free ones that we're going to give out in our raffles and stuff down the roadmap. As well as if anybody else wants tattoos, if you hold 5 more Dragoonz, you get VIP access to his private tattoo studio here in SoCal that we've already got put together with some Dragoonz prints on the wall and stuff like that. So it's pretty fucking rad.
Damn, that's lit. And did you mention a Bali trip by chance?
Yeah. So our first, like,
what?
once we sell out our first raffle for our trip, we're going to be taking 2 Dragoonz holders to Bali. We're going to raffle away 2 tickets. 2 trips. So we'll have 7 days paid for at a Bali resort. You can come hang out with the Goons gang. We'll be there too. We'll work out the dates that works for everybody or whatever. And then, we'll just take 2 people out there. You get 7 days paid for in this resort. It's an amazing resort, right? About a couple miles away from the beach. You could walk there. They got pool, they got a game room. So
it's kind of like a raffle.
Yeah.
And you have to hold a Dragoon NFT, obviously, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So for the trips, and we'll be doing those yearly. It's like, think of it as it's like a timeshare raffle. You know, I used to be a part of different timeshares where you would enter yearly and you would just, you know, hope you'd win that trip in Colorado for the week and then you get it for the low price of whatever. And so for me, doing that timeshare thing and kind of taking that mindset and being like, how can you bring that into the NFT space too? In a sense, that's what we're bringing to our trips is like, hey, if you hold one of these, like, we're going to have yearly trips and maybe you win. And if you don't want it, then your NFT just gained that much more value. You can sell it with the trip. So let's say you win the trip and you're like, I don't want to go to Bali, sell your NFT for a high price, buy another one off the floor. You still have your ticket for next year. And then you just sold and made money on your trip, you know? So there's different ways that people can go about using that trip, even if they don't want to go.
You said you're excited for the evolution and the future of NFTs. What does that look like? Or what do you think that looks like?
I think every aspect of life that you could think of is going to have an NFT. I think it's going to be used as verification purposes. It's going to be used as, you know, I think even it might go as far as if you want to get into your house, you might have an NFT that could be your key to your house. I think it's going to be a total evolution of everything we use right now for security purposes, whether it's passwords or logins or this or that. It's going to be NFTs in the future. I mean, that first house just sold in that Florida town as an NFT.
Tampa,
The deed of the house is the NFT. Alfa Romeo's coming out with cars as the certificate deed or whatever as the NFT. You're seeing different concerts. The Super Bowl gave out NFTs as tickets. If you owned a ticket, you got an NFT as a holder. So you're going to see different brands just continue to expand on that idea of having real life utilities and backing of like certification purposes, whether it's like a Rolex and you're selling it, because you have to think like, even if like the Coachella thing, they sold those NFTs where it's you get a lifelong thing to Coachella. If you spent the crazy amount of money on that NFT, it's like a lifelong pass or something like that. But you have to think, even if someone buys that for whatever crazy amount it is, they go a few times, then they're like, well, I don't want this anymore. They resell it for the same price or more that they bought it for. So they're making their money back. And then Coachella's making whatever royalties they put on it. So as a business aspect, like every business should be thinking of that. Like even if you don't have an idea that's brand new, you could do something like a membership token to your business where everyone has to have an NFT to take them into your business. That's just the way it is. And like, it's, you know, your little certificate of I belong here. And if you don't have one, maybe you're still allowed in, but you pay a different price. Maybe you get a discount if you have the NFT, something like that. I think every business is going to have some form of NFT incorporated.
Gotcha. I guess, what was so like when you were getting into NFTs, right? You probably made a really nice flip that really like sparked that enthusiasm. Do you have like a certain experience that really made you be like, oh, I love this NFT space. I want to start learning Solidity. I want to do all this type of stuff. Or was it just kind of like an overall general thought processing?
I think it was like a combination of things, I'd say. For for the first part, like obviously making money was cool, flipping and having fun and being able to make money from like my bed was fucking dope. I can't lie, like that was cool. But for me, the part that really caught my eye was older NFT brands, especially when Crypto Skulls got picked up by like Gary Vee. Seeing how the evolution of NFTs isn't that you need to get picked up right away, or isn't that you need to sell out in 15 minutes. I mean, the Crypto Skulls story was crazy because that guy was giving those away for free on Twitter back in 2019.
Can you tell us a little bit of that story? Because I don't know this story.
Yeah, so Crypto Skulls, I mean, I don't know that much, but I do know that obviously they picked up in trajectory in the past few months since Gary Vee picked them up, and he made that 100 ETH purchase of one. So that was a huge purchase. It was like one of the biggest purchases of Crypto Skulls. But from what I understand, it was an artist who was basically giving away Crypto Skulls for free. It was like this guy, I think he's based out of Russia, if I'm correct, or somewhere in that area, where he just loved the design and he loved making them. And he was early to NFTs, and no one really knew what NFTs were. So he would just send them out like on Twitter and stuff, like just for free, like, hey, if you want these, like you can have them. And then obviously people caught on to them, more holders started kind of seeing like, hey, these are cool. And then once Gary Vee picked up on it, I mean, they skyrocketed. They've kind of stabled out a little bit now and took that kind of normal, they went up and kind of stabled out now. But at the same time, I mean, for that guy, that's really awesome that he was putting out something for free that now has made him, I mean, I don't know what the floor is, but I still think it's like 6 ETH or something like that, or maybe more. I don't know. I could be way wrong. Don't quote me on this because I haven't looked at it.
Yeah. Do artists always make 10% of when it resells, or is that something they negotiate within the NFT that they create?
No, it's negotiated in the smart contract. So you would choose that within OpenSea, basically saying what percentage. So like OpenSea takes 2.5, and then you get to decide on top of that what percentage you're taking of the royalty.
Gotcha. Wow. OpenSea is making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
OpenSea is
like something like 19 billion or something last month. It was crazy.
Insane.
Wow. Yeah.
OpenSea is it's a whole mammoth monopolized business. I mean, I think there's going to be other marketplaces that come through and kind of knock it down a little bit, but you know, I'd say they blew NFTs up, man. Like when I was getting into NFTs, it was OpenSea, like get on OpenSea, you know, find all the cool NFTs on OpenSea.
Are there any other sites where people kind of can exchange them or get them or mint them? Or is it mainly just OpenSea right now?
From what I know, OpenSea does the best, but there's definitely a lot of marketplaces throughout the different ecosystems. For ETH, what would you say the second biggest one on ETH is for NFT marketplace?
I'd say Looks Rare. Looks Rare. Yeah, because the Looks token kind of blew up. And I mean, I still have high hopes for Looks Rare, but again, it's like Facebook and Instagram, man. Like OpenSea has NFTs right now by the balls. Like they're not going to let those go. And even with all of the different, like you would think after people were losing their apes and stuff was getting hacked from their wallets, like maybe they would choose to go to Looks Rare, or they would choose to go somewhere else. But even after review, it was something like 70% of Looks Rare transactions were just cycled transactions to basically people like trying to buy their own work to try and sell it and make but when you sell, you get Looks tokens. And Looks tokens, you can stake them, and then by staking them, you can make more money. So people were like buying and selling their own NFTs to make Looks tokens, and then stack those Looks tokens to then make more money. Staking's a whole different sphere. If you guys haven't looked into staking, that's a whole nother one.
Yeah, we're gonna have an episode on that. Not this one, but
yeah, that's a whole different episode for sure. But that's a cool thing in the Web3 space.
Yeah, I think I actually minted one of the first staking NFTs that there ever was on OpenSea. It was called Dead Bears. And they did this cool staking thing where they did a staking pool for the Floki token. And this was before the Floki token blew up. Yeah. So you could stake your dead bears for Floki, right?
all this word sounds so funny. Oh, the Floki and the dead bears. Okay, carry on.
There's so much crazy stuff, but yeah. So my buddy actually minted a Floki, which is like one of the most rare dead bears you can mint. So with that, he got a free ETH, and he got, I forgot how much Floki, but in all, after staking and everything, it turned out to be around $100,000 that he had gotten just from, I think it was like a 0.05 mint ETH mint.
Yeah,
and ETH was like
it's crazy
at the time. So it was,
I don't know what any of this means. We're gonna need to do an episode over this.
It gets really deep. It gets really deep.
You should listen to Dormant Dragons. I don't have Dormant Dragons. I'm not in that project, but that's a great staking project. I know that project has gone insane with their staking, and like people are making like upwards of $300 a day just by
Yeah.
staking 3 to 4 dormant dragons. It's pretty cool. And that's obviously like a goal once we do get into the plan. Like we do want to have a token, and we do want to have like, you know, a game where you can stake your things. Like that's in our plan, but that would, again, that's the cool part of the NFT space. You can take in basically everyone in your community and use them as your, you know, your
where you want to see your project,
your brand funding, you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's your sphere, it's your people, it's your backers, it's your stock IPO. They're the public holders. So by having that, we'll be able to vote. So do you guys want a token first? Do you guys want, you know, a DAO first? What do you want us to do with the 22 ETH that we're going to put in the community wallet? What would you like us to use that for? Would you like it to be, you know, we want to buy the land first, but then from there, do you want us to do a DAO? Do you want it to be, we hire someone to develop a token, you know, because I can do smart contracts and stuff like that. But if we're getting tokens and all of that, we're going to obviously hire a team so we make that transition and roll out easy, and I can help with that. But we wouldn't want someone who's been in the token game and, you know, knows how to create a stable token, and not just
hard to do.
So how are you marketing everything? So like it's your job to kind of create the hype and the marketing, right? Like how would you do that for the NFT that you're creating?
I mean, so there's a few different ways. We're doing things a little bit different. We're like taking a guerrilla marketing type route. We aren't really doing just the necessary, you know, plug an influencer, have them say a few things, and then hope that people come in. We've gotten a few artists that are in the community that already like are getting Dragoonz, are going to be holders. We're using them to create, you know, some fan art, and doing different projects around the cities, things like that, that we'll be dropping coming up. And then also like obviously using my connections that I've worked with, again, saying I've been in the sphere of the video world and like in LA and Hollywood. So using some of the connections, the rappers, the artists, the people that I've met along the way, friends that I've connected with, the Web3 space now. Yeah, just, you know, using that network. That's really the biggest part of this. You're not going to get as much traction as you think if you try. I mean, you can try the, you know, pay for the NFT pages, pay for the influencers, pay for all that stuff. And it does work. You generate a little bit, you get some traction here and there. But this space is really about building a community, because people are going to see who is in your space. They're going to log into the Discord and they're going to see how active the chat is. They're going to look at who's commenting on your photos and who's looking at your Twitter. It's no longer just like, oh, let me see the hype project. And there are a few of those here and there, you know, that people pick up on, like Pixelmon that freaking went crazy. And I think that mint was insane. It was a 3 ETH mint and it still sold out in like 15 seconds or something. So
all bots, yeah.
Oh.
it's so wild too, because they made like $72 million. It's just crazy. And it's not even an official Pokemon. It's not even an official Pokemon NFT. So it just wait till Pokemon gets into NFTs. It's gonna be wild. But again, we're so early. There's so many brands that haven't even popped off into NFTs. Like just wait till Hello Kitty gets an NFT.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be wild. I mean, there's still Hello Kitty cafes here in Irvine and stuff where people will wait for an hour just to get inside. So if you think that's crazy, wait till they drop NFTs. It's going to be wild.
Do you think once the bigger brands and bigger names get into the NFT space, that's going to diminish what these smaller creators are trying to make?
That's a good question.
Not in my opinion. I wouldn't think so. I mean, you have to think of it as like, I think of it as like the sneaker game, right? There's like big brands of sneakers. You can get Nikes, you can get Forces, you could get, you know, Converse, but then there's individual brands like Lost Boys, like these guys, they make their own shoes, you know, they're not name brand, they're just a little hype beast brand that they sell out every time they drop. So there's always going to be that market for artists that are in the smaller sphere, the same way there's market for artists that aren't even known, that are selling projects for millions of dollars that we've never heard of, I've never heard of. And I mean, maybe you guys have heard of them, but I've never heard of them in the NFT space, but they're selling projects for millions of dollars. And that is going to continue, because these high fashion brands are getting into it now. It's becoming like, you know, Gucci and Fendi and all these things are dropping collections, but those again are more collectible collections. There will be some utility to them, I'm sure, where if you can get into the store, if you own one, or you get a discount or something, but most of those are going to be collector's items because of A, the price, and B, the community around those is going to be based off of kind of the fact that you own such a high influence NFT token, I feel, my opinion.
So you think there's still a space for like these niches you're talking about, like small
Correct.
communities where people can relate on things that are like very unique?
Well, I mean, look at the social sphere that we're in Instagram, Twitter, wherever. There's the big communities that people are a part of. and take part in, you know, the A-list celebrities and all that stuff. But then there's tons of little communities that artists are a part of, that different people who do different professions are a part of, that things, again, that I've never heard of, but they're a part of. Or if you like different things, like you like crocheting, there's probably a whole group for crocheting, you know? So there's groups for everything. And I think that's just going to transition. Like, we're already in the metaverse. The metaverse is just a word for, you know, a 3D world, like in Grand Theft Auto or whatever, but we're in the metaverse. You already have those social spheres on your phone. You're already using different filters. You're putting different 3D avatars on your face. Like, we're in it. It's just not in everyday life, but we have it, you know, right? Like, it's already there. So this new fear of, oh, well, we're going to go into this metaverse and it's going to, like, the fear is non-essential. We're already there. The only difference is you're going to be wearing glasses, or it might be in your everyday life, which, again, you can choose. No one is going to be like, hey, put these on. You're going to want to wear these all the time. Like, you don't have to wear them. Don't wear the glasses. So you won't be in that metaverse. You'll have everyday life. And the people that want to wear them, the same people that want to wear J's, and then some people think it's crazy to spend $200 on shoes, you don't have to wear them, you know? So it's this fear of moving forward, I think, is just a fear of lack of understanding. It's not actually a fear based in any knowledge of what's to come. And that's not to say like the AI world isn't scary. I'm not talking about like that kind of stuff. That stuff's a little wild. But this world with just NFTs and the metaverse and like Facebook coming online and like having meetings in the metaverse, like that's just having Zoom meetings with an avatar. It's just what we're doing, but you have an avatar. It's the same thing. It's not changing, you know? So that's my 2 cents.
I think that's a great way to put it, because, you know, everybody thinks and hears metaverse, they're expecting to just be in this, you know,
fake
alternate
world.
reality, but the metaverse really is happening right now. Like, I'm in metaverse projects, and just how you said, you know, Snapchat, Instagram filters, it's all the same thing. And it's really just that uncertainty and like people just being scared and stuff like that, that are just like, oh my gosh, what is this? It's so hard to comprehend, but it's really right in front of us. Like, it's happening right in front of us.
When I think of social media, I don't think of real life. Like, I think now, especially as an influencer, content creator, people don't really know who I am. Like, they know certain parts of my life, they see certain things, but no one truly knows who I am. So do you think it's possible to continue with authenticity in a metaverse? Like, or when we actually do put on goggles, like, how do you think people can stay authentic or show authenticity in a place that can be so curated and fake?
I mean, I would think that just goes along with, throughout the times, no one really knows who anyone is except what you show them. So again, this is just going to be what you show people. If you decide to show people your full authentic self, then you're being your full authentic self. If you want to stunt and you want to do something different and you want to be a blue avatar, like the guy who has his own show in the Web3 space right now, where he's like a full blue avatar, like, that's cool too. That's what's kind of cool about this new space, is you can be expressive in any way you want, whether you want to be like a superhero or a regular, you know, just a regular avatar. Yeah, you can kind of showcase your creativity a little bit, and most people are open and understanding of that. But I do think it's up to the person to basically show that authenticity, because you could have like a fake avatar and still be super authentic. Or a fake avatar, it's not you, that can still be super authentic. You could be, you know, a superhero, but be yourself. But then there's going to be people that are themselves that are then just faking who they are online. But again, that happens in every day. Look at the Tinder swindler guy.
We have a crazy story about that.
Yeah, we're gonna actually make a podcast about it.
Yeah, that's so funny you bring that up.
Man. I went to an interesting dinner last night. We'll just say that.
Holy cow, that's crazy.
Yeah, but so I mean, that happens in everyday life. It's just, it's who you choose to be is who ultimately people will see. But that's just leaves it up to the
I think it also brings up opportunities for people that are more introverted and that wouldn't be putting themselves out in the real world as much, but in the metaverse, they could really be whoever they want to be. And it might bring them a lot more confidence. It might even, like, you know, flow over into real life. So I think it's good for everyone. And just like you said, you know, there's people who are authentic in real life and people that just like to put up fronts and stuff like that. So it's just up to the person.
Does this make the human experience more complex though? I mean, I know we're getting really kind of off topics of NFTs, but it's different having someone with 1 million followers on Instagram and you meet them in person, they suck, versus someone that doesn't have very many followers and they're an amazing human being that you think they just deserve the world and deserve a platform to share their greatness. It's, you know, how do we hinder in on those kind of situations?
Probably people's views on, like, you know, does it matter to have that many followers? Like, does this just make somebody, is somebody automatically cool because they have 1 million followers? Like, to me, I don't think so personally. Like, I'd rather sit down and meet with them, but I know other people have different thoughts about that. So
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if someone in the metaverse that you said was like, might be shy and they're like this amazing person in the metaverse and everyone likes them, but then in real life, I don't know, there's different.
Yeah,
It's
more
one of those
reserved.
situations where it's kind of like, I always think about like, it's important for my family and my friends to know who I truly am rather than people online. I take what people say online with a grain of salt because they don't really know me. It's like in the metaverse, if we're all in there and creating an avatar or a fake presentation of ourselves, like in the future, how does that go into play with who everyone's role is in society? It's kind of interesting to think of in that retrospect. Or is that like so out there that this doesn't even
No, I mean, there's definitely going to be a lot of changes and a lot of evolution. And I can't say if they're going to be good or bad because we never really know. That same way no one knew, you know, if the printing press was going to be good or bad. And a lot of people were terrified of that. People have called this like, you know, the new industrial revolution or whatever. And I do think so in a way, because there's going to be a lot of kinks to work out. Don't get me wrong. This is a new space. There's going to be a lot of things that go wrong. There's going to be a lot of things that are probably terrible in the metaverse sphere. And you're like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even know that could happen. But this is a brand new space. But once things are worked out, once things are rolled out, I do see an opportunity where it may, in a sense, take away from the human environment or connection because we'll kind of be online.
Yeah.
But I do think if as a society as a whole, we kind of notice that and we're able to then allocate time like, hey, your school, like, because for kids, I really think school is going to end up being in the metaverse. I think you're going to end up logging in and kind of having your classes online, at least they're going to start with college and all of that. They already do that as online classes, but now you're going to be logged in where they can see that your avatar is in the seat and you're in the lecture hall and you can be next to your friends and things like that. It's going to be like having class
I think it's really cool what you guys are doing, because it's like almost finding that balance, right? Where we're gonna have to, there's gonna be a point in time where we're gonna have to find that balance between the metaverse and in real life. And like what you guys are doing with, like, you know, the tattoo parlors or like exclusive events, you're bringing these people from the metaverse in real life and connecting that way. So that's a good way of bringing some balance to it. And I think that's gonna,
and that goes, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying is we'll as a community, we'll have to take that balance where we'll know like, okay, well, we're in the metaverse so often, we'll need to do outside events. We'll need to have things for kids that are not in the metaverse. We'll need to have things for adults that are not in the metaverse. Like these trips that we're trying to plan, like I want to make like adult day camp, because you're going to need those breaks. If we're all working, if we're all in our computers, I mean, I'm on my computer all the time with this coding and stuff. If we're all in that space, we're going to need to take those times to go to Bali and get away and drop the electronics for a week. We're going to need to go to Mexico, to Tulum, you know, and sit on the beach and drink margaritas. We're going to need to go and get out and do these things. And that is part of what we create, what we wanted to create, or have these in real life events where we create a speakeasy or something like that, where you can go to and get a tattoo and be in a parlor and get drinks and things, where it's not just in the metaverse, but you are part of the community that is now in this new space and you get to participate in both.
What would you tell someone that loves tattoos but isn't fully on board with getting an NFT, like a tattoo NFT?
I mean, that's just ultimately their call about learning about NFTs if they want to take that jump. NFTs to me are the new space. If you're uncomfortable buying an NFT, maybe learn a little bit more about the NFT that you're buying or the space. But really, for us, it's not necessarily about the NFT. Like the art's dope, don't get me wrong. I fucking love the art. I think it's crazy. I think my partner went wild, but it's not necessarily about just the art. You have to think about the utilities involved. Like if you do like tattoos and you do want to be a part of a private tattoo community where you get to use this studio at a exclusive rate and you get VIP access basically before anybody else, before the walk-ins and all that stuff, then maybe that is for you. And you're like, maybe I will buy 5 so I can hold the 5 and be a part of that member exclusive community where I get to walk in and have, you know, first dibs at whatever art I want, where I get to create a new piece that I want or whatever it is. And the artist will work with me one-on-one and we'll figure it out in our own time. And it doesn't have to be on office time or whatever. So you get that little exclusivity to your tattoo journey. And that's what it is it's really a journey. So it's bringing that that level of service and that level of experience to you. It's bringing that quality feeling that you get on your journey of tattoos and stuff.
Kind of feels like intimacy
Awesome.
too, like
Yeah,
more intimate
100%.
relationship with other people that share the same values.
Yeah,
Bringing that
exactly.
community together.
Yeah.
That's why the community is so important, so huge for any NFTs, for any tokens. I always say the community is like the number one thing.
Yeah.
100%. But so how many pieces are you guys going to be releasing?
So we're doing 2,222.
Nice.
Why that
it's a
number?
Yeah, all twos are more like numbers. But it's the second month, it's February. We wanted to release in twos, and just kind of, it's just a bunch of twos. We're doing like 12 different pieces. We're giving away 22 prints. We just put twos on everything. We're releasing in February. We're like, why not? It's a lucky number.
Okay, so it's February.
Yeah, does that mean
Yeah.
you guys are releasing on February the 22nd, 222?
I mean, I won't say we may or may not.
He's just laughing.
On a 222 date.
I saw on your website you're doing a stealth launch, which I think is cool. It definitely helps out with the bots and stuff.
We're doing that, yeah, for the bots and also for the gas fees. Like I'll be with the other members of our team on our dev team. We'll be scoping all day, just waiting for the lowest gas fees, and then that's when we're gonna basically let it known that we're dropping it, because we do know there's a lot of projects dropping around the end of the month, around that time, and we just want to make sure for our consumers, even though I did write a consolidated contract and it is flattened and it should be pretty good on gas fees. After the test, it went really well, but we want to make sure that also the market isn't at a peak or anything like that. So
yeah, it's actually really interesting because this weekend I paid $35 for a gas fee on ETH, which to me is crazy because I'm used to paying $150 to $250 to do a single transaction, and it said $30, and I was like, wait, what? Like
bro, in the beginning I was paying like $400. Like gas used to be,
you remember way back in the
crazy.
day, bro.
Gas was insane.
Gas fees for what?
For Ethereum. So in order to make a transaction on Ethereum, you have to pay, which is called a gas fee.
So like to mint something, you would have to pay like an extra $200
to mint, buy a coin.
And minting it means that you're getting ownership as being put into your wallet.
Yeah,
right?
you're forging it. Yeah.
Okay.
But with coins too, you have to use gas to buy and sell. So back in the day, it used to be like 350, 400 on some days where it's like, you literally put 350 in, you're never going to get it back because that's the gas fee. And then to sell, hopefully you make a profit, is 350 to sell again. It used to be crazy.
And if you're in a gas war where you're like fighting with other people, you may put in 400 and just never get that back. Bro, yeah, I did that a few times.
I've lost thousands and thousands of dollars on failed transactions on Ethereum.
All right, now
it's insane.
Write this down. We need to do a gas fee. We need to do a gas fee podcast.
Yeah, gas. I mean, but it was so crazy, bro. This weekend, $30, $35. I was like, what is this?
No, I know. I bought a few ENS names because gas was so cheap.
Nice.
I just went on and bought a few ENS names.
Yeah.
I have a question. What's the difference between self-launching and launching with what would you launch if you don't launch by yourself?
Stealth launch.
Oh,
yeah, because
I thought you said self. Okay.
No,
stealth launching. Stealth launching is huge. I mean, there's a lot of bots out there, right? So, and they're able to front run everybody because they're such good programmers. They can do this thing where they just get, so if a project's super hot, they're getting everything right at the beginning. And if you're just sitting there clicking, good luck. Like the bots are usually going to get it.
Doesn't seem fair.
It's not at all.
Okay. So stealth launch, how does that prevent the bots?
You can never fully prevent them, but it doesn't, it's like, because you give someone a set time, everybody's going to set their bot to go buy at that exact time. So stealth launch is like, you guys will, I'm sure you're going to release on Twitter or Instagram or Discord and be like, hey, we're live, go mint now, right? So it's like, then it would, the bots would have to either have the contract codes or the addresses and like be able to notice when they go live to use the bot. It makes it more difficult.
Okay. So it's kind of like how active your community is. That's who gets first dibs.
It's just another safeguard. I mean, there's, like you said, there's no way to fully prevent them, unfortunately. It's like, again, the NFTs in the sneaker game are very similar. There's bots in the sneaker game. You got to be on there at 9 a.m. just clicking on the Supreme site. There's bots in the NFT game. So it's, when people can make money, they'll create a bot, especially if they're super smart. But you can do things to help your community at least get most of the NFTs, because if a bot gets some of them, it's okay. It might happen, but hopefully the community will get most of them and either be able to make a profit. I mean, if you're on the whitelist, you get a lower mint fee. So if you want to be a flipper, just get on the whitelist and you can sell it for a low floor. Or if you want to hold and be a long-term holder, which is what I've turned into now with most of my projects, I don't really look at floor prices anymore. To me, that's not a defining factor of a successful project. I look at the amount traded and how well the community's doing. Because there's a lot of projects that just have a low floor, but the community is badass. And you're like, okay, that's fine. So everyone wants to make money, and obviously that's great. But I think putting people in that mindset too, especially newcomers, being like, yeah, you're going to make a shit ton of money like right away. Like the floors on all these projects just go through the roof, is really setting them up kind of for a sour taste in their mouth when they go through a few transactions and they're like, I haven't made any money and I think I'm in the red like $1,000. And you're like, yeah, that's going to happen. Like that's a lot of projects. You kind of have to be used to that. But then if you hit one, that's a 20X, you're going to make up on all the ones that you just took red on. So it really doesn't matter. But to set them up for that excitement and then the letdown, I really think is what turns a lot of people away, where they do a few NFTs. They're like, no, I didn't make any money. And you're like, well, it's not necessarily all about making the money. Did you participate in the communities? Did you like the NFTs that you bought? Like, did you even like the projects? Like, you'll talk to a lot of people. They're like, no, I just bought because this guy bought it and I thought I would make money. And you're like, well, that's part of the problem. You don't even like what you own. So if you got stuck with it, like I only buy shoes that I like. So that way, if I don't want to flip them, I have them and I'll wear them. You know, it's the same concept with NFTs. Only buy NFTs that you like. So if you don't get to flip it or you don't make money on it, you're like, no, that's cool. I still have this cool piece of art, or I'm still part of this community, or I still have this utility, whatever it is.
And I think it's interesting that you're saying this, because people don't buy, wall art because they're like, oh, I think I can flip this wall art and, only put it in my house for 2 years and then sell it for more than I got it for. They get it because they genuinely like it and they like the way it looks. They like the ambiance it brings to their house. And I think some people miss the art of that within NFTs. Yeah,
they do. And it's because of that mindset of trying to get the next rising floor or the next, hate beast that sells super high or whatever. But it's not, that is a goal, and it's great to make money, and a lot of people do make money, and you can do that. But I don't think that should be the primary focus for everybody, because I do think that leaves a lot of sour apples for people, and then you're going to lose a lot of people out of the space that could be valuable members of different communities. They just were unfortunately burnt on the front end because they hoped for something that, was super big, and they were going to be a millionaire and be able to just work from their bed, not go back to the job, which again does happen to a lot of people. And I know a lot of guys that are making triple figures playing NFT games and ETH games and shit, and making different tokens and stacking NFTs, and that's how they make their money now, and that's great. But they've also been in the space for 5+ years, so they had to put in that work and go in the red and lose a lot of transactions and learn all about the space before they got there. It's rare that you're going to have these lottery cases where it's like the 21-year-old kid who just happened to buy an ape and now it's worth $400,000 and he's like fucking crazy. It's like, it's more than not going to be people that have been in the space for a long time. And that's why I tell everyone to get involved now. Like, if you want to be the next NFT millionaire, you have to start by owning NFTs. Or if you want to create the next NFT project, again, you have to start by owning NFTs. You can't be like, well, I want to create a project, and people always come up with their ideas, and I'm always listening because I want to help and I want to be with the community, but they'll come up and be like, yeah, I got this great idea for a project. And I'm like, so how much do you know about the space? Like, do you own any NFTs? And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, well,
so many people.
How can you want to be a part of something that you don't even know the community or the behind, or how to purchase, or how to, like, you don't even know that's like being a baseball player and being like, I want to play baseball. And you're like, well, do you know the rules? They're like, well, no, I just want to play baseball.
So to wrap this up, I feel like this is a good segue into kind of like closing everything. So if someone's new to the NFT space, they want to get involved, what do you recommend? It kind of sounds like just start, or just that's really it is. Just start to get on your Twitter, start following all the different top crypto Twitter pages. Forbes just came out with a list of the top 100 most influential crypto Twitter pages. So you can go follow all those profiles. They're going to have a lot of great info for you about different projects, about the NFT space. There's a lot of big names in there. Oh, Shiny, Matt V Med, all those guys, great guys. They do great tweets, different spaces. Start logging onto Twitter spaces. Get involved as a listener. Start listening to the community of different projects, of different NFT groups, what they're saying. There's a lot of valuable info there. Hop on different Discords. Make sure you're in different community rooms. Learn how to use the space. Learn how to use Discord. Learn how to use Twitter. Learn how to use your MetaMask. Make sure you do a little security prevention too. Like, learn MetaMask by
watching videos that tell you security protocols and not to give out your seed phrase and all these different things. Don't be one of the ones that has to learn.
We are have
hard
the
way.
plan.
So I'd say just start. That is the first part. It's like, it's really just starting. It's a big space. It's intimidating, but just getting in there, getting your hands on NFTs, purchasing, losing some money, start with low projects. Don't buy 3 ETH floors for Pixelmon if you're new, unless you have money to blow. Buy 0.02 floors or 0.08 floors max or something like that. Like our project is 0.088 for the whitelist and 0.1 for everyone else, but that's because it's such a low quantity. There's only 2,000 and you can win trips all over the world. So it's a fair trade-off to be at 0.1. I think it's still less than a 1 ETH mint, way less than a 1 ETH mint. But yeah, I'd say for new people, just hop in, just get involved.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on, man.
Yes.
One of the things I loved you saying was just you weren't trying to pump everything up. You weren't guaranteeing people they're going to make money. It's like, do it for the love of the project, do it for the community. And there's not enough people like you in this space. So it's really awesome to have you on here, man. And I hope the best for your project. I know I'm definitely going to be partaking in it. I love tattoos and I love the artwork. So
where can people find you?
So I mean, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on every space. It's Dragoonz NFT. That's DRAGOONZ, just like dragons, but with an extra O and a Z. You can type in Goons Gang too. We come up on that hashtag, but we're everywhere. I'm chasing the Stoke on pretty much every platform, chasingthestoke.eth. But yeah, we're here. If you have any questions about the project, if you have any questions about starting your own project, obviously I'm a dev, so I can help with that too. If you guys have questions about anything, I'm always happy to help. I don't know everything, but I do love talking about the space. So thank you for having me on. I've gotten to talk your guys' ear off. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. I do really enjoy this space. It's great to have, new friends in the Web3 universe. So thanks for having me on. Big blessings.
And if you are new, feel free to reach out to him or reach out to his project, because
we'll link all of his socials and everything too.
Yeah, we will.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time, guys. Big blessings. And I hope you have a very prosperous week.
All right. You too. Bye.
Take it easy, man.
Thank you.